Today is June 21st, which means we are almost at the halfway point in the regular season. And with that in mind, I thought it'd be a good time to drop some power rankings. Now, real quick before we get started, if you guys do enjoy this type of content, feel free to subscribe. I post plenty of baseball videos here on this channel, and I'm going to continue to do so going forward. Now let's hop into the rankings. Getting started off at number 30, the worst team in baseball, I have the Oakland A's. Coming into the season, the Athletics were expected to be very bad as they lost some of their best players in Matt Chapman and Matt Olson. And so far, statistically, they are the worst team in the league as they currently sit at 23-45. They do have a really good catcher in Sean Murphy, who I do think will be there long term, but their other talented players like Frankie Montas and Paul Blackburn, I wouldn't be surprised to see them moved at the deadline. So Oakland, right now, they're a train wreck and I don't see them getting better anytime soon. At number 29, I have the Washington Nationals. The Nationals are right down there with the A's as they currently sit at 24-46. The Nats, winning the World Series in 2019, ever since then have been a pretty bad team. As we stand today, they don't have too much talented players in their major league roster outside of Juan Soto, Josh Bell, and Josiah Gray. So for the Nationals, similar to the Oakland A's, I don't see things getting better anytime soon. At number 28, I have the Kansas City Royals. Offensively, the Royals aren't all that bad on paper. They have some talented bats in Salvador Perez, Bobby Witt Jr., and Andrew Benintendi. But their starting rotation and their pitching as a whole is their downfall as they have one of the worst rotations in all of baseball. So if their pitching rotation doesn't get any better, they're not going to be anywhere near the postseason. Moving on, at number 27, I have the Pittsburgh Pirates. Coming into the season, not too much was expected of the Pirates as they were looked at as a 100-loss team. And while they haven't been playing too bad as they're currently 26-39, they're not going to be anywhere near the postseason this year. They have some talented players on their roster in Brian Reynolds, Ke'Bryan Hayes, and David Bednar. But as we stand today, there's no denying that they're not a good baseball team, but they did call up O'Neal Cruz, so that will be something to watch going forward. At number 26, I have the Detroit Tigers. Over the past couple seasons, the Tigers have been one of the worst teams in baseball, but there was some optimism heading into this season. They picked up some big free agents in Eduardo Rodriguez and Javier Baez. But so far, Rodriguez and Baez have not lived up to their contracts. As we stand today, they currently sit at 26-40. So they're not playing well at all right now, but they do have some exciting prospects in Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green, who recently got the call to the big leagues. At number 25, I have the Chicago Cubs. As we stand today, the Cubs are currently 25-41. And that's not too surprising considering the Cubs have one of the worst rosters in baseball. They do have a couple good offensive bats in Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ, but outside of them, they don't have much talent at all. At number 24, I have the Cincinnati Reds. Early on in the season, the Reds were clearly the worst team in baseball as they won 3 of their first 26 games. They were off to a historically bad start, but ever since then, they've been above average. As a whole, I don't think the Reds are going to compete this year, but I definitely don't think they're the worst team in baseball. They have some talent on their team including Joey Votto, Jonathan India, and Luis Castillo. So the Reds are not great by any means, but I still don't think they're the worst team in the game. At number 23, I have the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies currently sit at 30-37, which is last place in the NL West. Now for the Rockies, they're definitely not the most talented team in the league, but I think they've been playing relatively well for what they have on their roster. Their big offseason acquisition in Chris Bryant has been out most of the season, so without him, I thought the Rockies would have had one of the worst records in the game. But I've been impressed with Colorado so far. They're definitely not a great team, but I think they've been playing pretty well so far. At number 22, I have the Baltimore Orioles. Over the past couple of years, the Orioles have been the worst team in baseball. But this year, it's clear they've taken a big step forward as they're currently 30-38. They are in last place in the AL East, but that's the best division in baseball, and they're staying relatively competitive. They have Adley Rutschman in the big leagues, and Grayson Rodriguez is not far away, so Baltimore's going to be much improved going forward. At number 21, I have the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners have been one of baseball's biggest disappointments as preseason people were expecting them to break out and potentially win the AL West. Right now they sit at 29-39, and outside of Julio Rodriguez and Ty France, they haven't gotten much production out of anyone. Hopefully Seattle can pick things up, but with the way they look right now, I'm not sure they're going to. Getting on to number 20, I have the Arizona Diamondbacks. After an awful 2021 campaign where they lost over 100 games, the D-backs have bounced back this year. They currently sit at 32-36, and they've really shown some flashes of being a pretty solid team. They've gotten some great starting pitching out of guys like Madison Bumgarner, Zach Gallen, and Merrill Kelly, and their offense hasn't been too far behind. Moving on, at number 19, I have the Texas Rangers. The Rangers were one of the worst teams in the game last year, but this year they made some big offseason acquisitions and expectations were relatively high. Texas, however, got off to a very slow start, but as of late they've been picking things up as Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, and John Gray have been playing a lot better than they were early on. As for the rest of the season, I think Texas is a team that's going to finish right around 500. Moving on, at number 18, I have the Los Angeles Angels. Early on, the Angels looked like one of the best teams in baseball before their 14-game losing streak. As we stand today, they're currently 33-36. This Angels team definitely has the talent to make the postseason, and I really hope they do because I want to see Trout and Ohtani in the playoffs. Moving on, at number 17, I have the Miami Marlins. The Marlins' record is a little misleading. They currently sit at 29-35, but I think they're a lot better than their record shows. They have a positive run differential, and on top of that, they've lost a ton of one-run games, so if things just went the Marlins' way, they could be a lot better and easily be over 500. On top of that, they have one of the best starting rotations in baseball, so over time I think the Marlins are going to even out and be a lot better than their record is right now. At number 16, I have the Chicago White Sox. The White Sox have been one of baseball's biggest disappointments as so far they're 31-33. As I'm sure many of you know, the White Sox were one of the best teams in baseball on paper heading into the season, and they were really expected to compete for a World Series. They look a lot different than last year's postseason team, and if they don't pick things up soon, they're not going to be in the postseason this year. At number 15, I have the Philadelphia Phillies. The Phillies have been a little bit inconsistent to start out the year as they've had lots of good winning streaks and lots of bad stretches. All in all, they currently sit at 36-32, and Bryce Harper looks like another MVP candidate, and they also have two dominant starting pitchers in Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. I do like this team a lot. I think they have a very good shot at making the postseason and ending their big drought. Getting on to number 14, I have the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians have been one of baseball's biggest surprises early on as they currently sit at 34-28 and they're only one game back of Minnesota for first place in the AL Central. Jose Ramirez has looked as good as ever, and Cleveland's starting pitching and bullpen has been dominant. So I've been really impressed with Cleveland so far. If they keep this up, I wouldn't be surprised to see them make the wild card or even win the AL Central. At number 13, I have the San Francisco Giants. The Giants are yet again competing for the NL West as they're only 3 games back of the first place Dodgers. They've gotten some great starting pitching to go along with some consistent offense. The Giants aren't a team that's going to wow you by their roster, but they're going to compete year in and year out. They're one of the most well-coached teams in all of baseball. Moving on, at number 12, I have the Minnesota Twins. The Twins are currently first place in the AL Central as they currently sit at 38-30. They have been very impressive offensively as Byron Buxton and Luis Ariz have been carrying the load. On top of that, they've gotten some great starting pitching out of Sonny Gray and Joe Ryan. And as good as Minnesota has been, they haven't gotten great production out of Carlos Correa and Jorge Polanco, who are heating up as of late, so as they get better, I think the Twins will get even better. Moving on, at number 11, I have the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers currently sit at 38-30, which is tied for first place in the NL Central along with the St. Louis Cardinals. Milwaukee, while banged up, has been playing pretty well as Corbin Burns has been pitching like a Cy Young candidate yet again, and Josh Hader has looked like the best reliever in baseball. While their offense hasn't been the best, they've gotten some good production out of Willy Adames and Rowdy Tellez. So even while banged up, the Brewers look like one of the best teams in the National League, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the postseason yet again. Getting into the top 10, at number 10, I have the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox don't have a top 10 record as they currently sit at 36-31, but I think they are definitely a top 10 team. Offensively, they're led by superstars Rafael Devers, JD Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, and Trevor Story. And their starting pitching has gotten a lot better lately as Nick Pivetta has stepped up, as well as Tanner Houck, who recently got promoted to the closer role. I think the Red Sox are only going to get better as the season goes on, and I absolutely think they're going to be in the postseason. Moving on, at number 9, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays, similar to the Red Sox, don't have the best record as they currently sit at 36-30. But I think with what we've seen in the past and how the Rays have played year in and year out, I think they're definitely a top 10 team. They're missing their best offensive bat in Wander Franco, and they're only going to get better once he gets back and fully healthy. On top of that, they have one of the best starting pitchers in the American League right now in Shane McClanahan, who could very well be the American League Cy Young favorite. So Tampa Bay is very good. They have the best coaching staff in baseball, and they're going to be back in the postseason yet again. At number 8, I have the defending champion Atlanta Braves. The Braves started out slow early on, but as of late, they've picked things up. They recently had a 14-game win streak, which really put them in the conversation for the division crown along with the New York Mets. They currently sit at 38-29, and they look like they are one of the hottest teams in the game even after their winning streak snapped, so I think they're going to be one of the best teams going forward. Moving on, at number 7, I have the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals are definitely one of the best teams in the National League. They currently sit at 38-30, and top to bottom, they are very good. They have one of the best offenses in the National League that consists of players like Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, and Nolan Arenado. They've also gotten some great starting pitching out of Adam Wainwright, and they also just got their ace back in Jack Flaherty. So the Cardinals look like one of the best teams in baseball right now, and I think they're going to be towards the top of the NL Central all season. At number 6, I have the Toronto Blue Jays. Top to bottom, this is definitely one of the best teams in baseball. They currently sit at 38-28, and I think they're only going to get better as Bo Bichette and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. heat up. They have a great bullpen. Their starting rotation, while it has lots of talent, hasn't been great so far, so I think they're going to get better as well, and this whole team is going to just continue to improve as the season goes on. Getting into the top 5, at number 5, I have the San Diego Padres. The Padres have been one of the best teams in baseball so far, as they currently sit at 41-27. They were my preseason pick to win the World Series, and it looks like they could very well be contending for it this year. They've been playing so well without their best player all year long in Fernando Tatis Jr., who has yet to make his debut. And I can't mention the Padres without mentioning the Cy Young favorite in the National League in Joe Musgrove. The Padres are a very good baseball team, and they're going to continue to win lots of games. At number 4, I have the Houston Astros. The Astros have one of the best records in baseball right now, as they currently sit at 41-25. The Astros have just been firing on all cylinders, as Yordan Alvarez looks like an MVP candidate and Justin Verlander looks like a Cy Young candidate. They also have Kyle Tucker, Jose Altuve, Luis Garcia, and Framber Valdez, so this team is very, very good. At number 3, I have the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers are currently first placing the NL West, as they currently sit at 40-25. Offensively, they've been great, as Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, and Mookie Betts have all shown up. And their starting rotation is just absolutely ridiculous, as they have Walker Buehler, Clayton Kershaw, Julio Urias, Tyler Anderson, and Tony Gonsolin. In my opinion, the Dodgers are the most talented team in baseball, and they're definitely going to be competing for a World Series this year. At number 2, I have the New York Mets. The Mets have been one of the best teams in baseball, as they currently sit at 44-24. Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, and many other offensive bats have shown up this year. They've also gotten some great starting pitching, even while missing Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer for a big chunk of the season. So the Mets are one of the best teams in baseball right now, and they're not even fully healthy, so there's no doubt in my mind they're going to be in the postseason and they're going to make some noise. At number 1, the best team in baseball, it's the New York Yankees. This should come as no surprise, as they have by far the best record in baseball, as they currently sit at 49-17. Offensively, this team looks unstoppable, as Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and Anthony Rizzo look like the best trio in baseball. They've also gotten dominant starting pitching out of players like Garrett Cole, Luis Severino, and Nestor Cortez. The Yankees aren't slowing down anytime soon, and there's no doubt in my mind they're the best team in baseball as of right now. So there you have my full power rankings. Let me know where you guys agree or disagree down below. As always, I want to thank you guys again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.